Okay. Welcome back to Nick Lenz's Comic Corner, classics slash non-classics. This is episode number 53, and this is Double Shot number 9. Two books, like I usually like to do double shots. The first book is X-Men: Fall of the Mutants, Volume 1. Thick book. This book has Uncanny X-Men, 620, no, not 620, 220 to 227, Incredible Hulk, number 340, New Mutants, and New Mutants 55 to 60 written by Chris Claremont and Peter David. Chris Claremont does the Uncanny X-Men and New Mutants issues, while Peter David does the Incredible Hulk issue. Now, pretty much the whole point of having issues, basically 220 to 224 in here for Uncanny X-Men, that serves as a prelude to what happens in Uncanny X-Men 225 to 227, where the X-Men, and maybe you have probably heard this story before, this is actually the second crossover the X-Men have had. This is before Inferno. Basically, Incredible Hulk, that's just simply just tying into what's going on here. Let's see if I can find here when exactly that will take place. Let's see. Hey, hang on, I just found it here. That comes after, let's see. Hang on, just found it. It comes right after 224, so set right before the events of Uncanny X-Men 225. And on the cover, and this kind of does happen in the book, it's Wolverine versus the Grey Hulk. Yes. And the Sensei, despite the fact her name be on the book, she doesn't write any of the issues. She's just the editor on a lot of these books. And as for New Mutants 55 through 58, that serves as a prelude to what goes on for Fall of the Mutants tie-in for New Mutants. Pretty much, in the case of the X-Men, the X-Men fake their deaths in order to save Dallas from some extra-dimensional invasion. Chris Claremont, well, it's an okay story. I give credit that much. New Mutants was really much more exciting, at least deal with more. It also dealt with the first time that Cameron Hodge met the New Mutants, and plus, when they first introduced the Right, his mutant-hating organization that he created, which is somewhat financed using the finances of Warren Morgan III, which he doesn't like very much, which we will find that out in Creates and X-Men in X Factor. But you see this little bird creature here? He shows up in 55, and the reason I put those issues in there is so when people read this book, they understand what the heck is going on. But the Incredible Hulk, like usual, Peter David does a good job with it. New Mutants is really good, really exciting. It does tie into what, and the issues do tie in what's going on in Uncanny X-Men, but basically it's all from the New Mutants' point of view. They see it on television. The artwork is okay. Let me give you a sample of the artwork. This is basically the artwork from the issue of Uncanny X-Men. Want to see artwork from Tom McFarlane's artwork from the 80s? Let's see. Where is that artwork? Let's see. I know it's in here someplace. Here we go. This is Tom McFarlane's artwork from the 1980s. So those of you Spawn fans are familiar with this art style. Okay? Now, overall, I give this book a 4 out of 5 because the Uncanny X-Men stuff really did not do much for me, especially when I first read the story. It's not really big, that exciting a story. That's the only downturn to this. The Uncanny X-Men story is not all that good. It's an okay story. New Mutants is really good, especially with Magneto berating them after the death of Doug Ramsey, happens issue 60. But he actually dies because he sacrificed him to save, I believe he saves one of the female New Mutants, I don't remember which one it was. This same kind of thing happened in the first issue of Avengers. They do kind of repeat it, but it's a different writer. Except it's a character called MVP, no relation to the wrestler MVP, where he sacrificed himself to save a woman known as Cloud9. So overall, 4 out of 5. It's a good book. Would I get it? Would you get it? If you're an X-Men fan, yes. If you're a New Mutants fan, yes. If you're a Peter David fan, oh yes. And definitely if you're a Incredible Hulk fan. But it's only one issue. But there is an Incredible Hulk issue next book. Okay? Now, for the second book, X-Men, Fall of the Mutants, Volume 2. This contains X-Factor Volume 1, not Volume 3, not the most recent one written by Peter David. This is Volume 1, issues 18 and 26, Incredible Hulk, 336 to 337, Power Pack number 35, Daredevil 252, Captain America 339, and Fantastic Four 312. This one's a lot better, especially since they take on this guy. No. This guy here, Apocalypse. This is the second time actually they've taken on him. This is the first time ever they are in person. But basically, a lot of the issues 18 to 23 serve as a prelude to what goes on in the pages of X-Factor. Now, Louise Simonson, Pierre David Anderson, Mark Griswold, and Steve Eckhart write the issues in here. Louise Simonson writes the X-Factor issues. Pierre David obviously writes Incredible Hulk. And Ascenti writes a Daredevil issue. And I believe Mark Griswold, let's see. I'm not sure what Mike Griswold writes. I think he probably writes either Fantastic Four or Captain America. Now, after the placement of these issues, the Incredible Hulk two-parter, yeah, it's a two-parter, that comes right after issue 20. So pretty much it takes place right after the events of Uncanny X-Factor number 20. Pretty much it just fills in kind of a small little gap there. It's a small little two-parter. Is it really necessary? No. But it's a good story. I do get credit for basically putting these issues in there. Especially since X-Factor does guest star in this particular book. Now, pretty much issues 21 and 23, it's just simply just a just continuing the prelude, and plus also introduces the right to X-Factor. I think this is the book we're going to make debut in. And this goes on pretty much throughout most of the book. Now, just before they have the final issue, they have a couple issues that take place in between issues 25 and 26. Let's see if I can get to them. Well, first of course, is right after issue 25 of X-Factor, they have a series of 3 issues that basically take place in between those issues. First, it's Power Pack number 35. It's a good issue, yes, I give credit that much. And then it's the double-sided issue of Daredevil number 252, which is a Fall Mutants tie-in. That also takes place in between there. Now, pretty much it's Anna Sandy writing, at least this book, she knows exactly what she's doing. And Catwoman, some people don't have no idea what she's really doing in the book. This book, she actually does a really good job doing. I've read this issue before, but this is one of my personal favorites, the Captain America issue. Now, take a look at this cover. Is that the traditional red and blue costume? No. There is a good reason for this, because at the time this issue came out, there was a storyline going on in the comics of Captain America. Started with issue number 325, and this went on to 350. Ronald Reagan, then President of the United States, takes Steve Rogers out of the Captain America costume and strips him of the head and gives it to John Walker, who most of you know as U.S. agent and recognizes his costume. Pretty much it deals with basically Steve Rogers getting caught up what's going on with all the mutants, and he takes on the Horseman Pestilence. That's who's on the cover. And it's a woman. This same woman also has an affair with Apocalypse and later gives birth to their son, who becomes the 616 version of Holocaust, who's called Genocide. He appears in the pages of Uncanny X-Force. Okay? Now, this issue's actually really good. I do get credit for, let's see, who wrote this issue? It was, let's see if I can find it here. Mark Griswold wrote this issue. Okay, he wrote this issue. I think Steve Eckhart wrote and pretty much it takes place before X-Factor 26, which deals with the aftermath. It wraps up everything that's going on, what happened in the previous 2 issues. And then you have Fantastic Four 312, which part of it does take place during this issue, but the rest of it picks up right where this issue leaves off. Basically, this is a good event, plus Doc Doom, Black Panther gets started in this issue, and plus, at the time, Revengers is not here. But I think it was also this time, basically, Fantastic Four apparently disbanded, but at the end of the issue, they put the Fantastic Four back together. So all in all, I give this book a 5 out of 5, because this is really, really good. sets up a lot of stuff, and it does pay off. Basically, get this, if you're an X-Men fan, Peter David fan, a Hulk, Daredevil, Captain America, or Fantastic Four fan, you will get this book. But they're just shoved like toward the very end. But all in all, this is a really good book, and a lot better than this. Well, at least this was okay. Most of it, anyways. News was a lot better. This one's a lot better. Now, would I possibly see these issues adopted into a TV show if they decide to make a TV show about the X Factor? Oh, yes. This would probably make a good season finale for either probably a second or probably first season, because the way this thing folds out. Would I see Marvel probably do this? Maybe not, but I would love to see one. Okay? That's it for episode 53. Stay tuned for episode 54, while I'm doing another double shot, and that's going to be my 10th one. Okay? See you all there. Bye.